Umupo tayong lahat, ilagay ang kanang kamay sa ating dibdib at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang tanang magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong mughaw, may dilatang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwalhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to all our part three of our Propagate and Radiate free amateur radio orientation webinar with the topic Element 7 Operating Procedures. It is one of our countless webinars that bring you knowledge beyond the horizon and will bring enrichment to your wisdom. This webinar is brought to you by the Radio Engineering Circle. I am Engineer John de la Cruz, for Foxtrot 1 Juliet, member of the Board of Trustees of the Radio Engineering Circle Incorporated. So, how are you guys? I hope you're feeling well, and I think everyone is still safe, and I hope that everyone will be vaccinated soon. Okay, so before we start the webinar, let me remind everyone to register now through the link or through the QR code that you can see on your screen. Okay, so you need to complete the registration and mock exam of the three elements episode. So this is the last part of that three element episode of for the class B. And we highly encourage everyone to listen attentively to the speakers because later, after the presentation, we are going to have a mock exam which will be the prerequisite for your certificate. In order to get the certificate, you should be able to pass the mock exams of Element 7. Also, we would like to invite you to join our circle, Radio Engineering Circle Incorporated. Just log on to rec.org.ph/join to apply. Okay, so we are a proud member of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association and the Federation of Rapid Emergency Telecommunications Team of the Philippines. Okay, so you can see here, let's log on to our .org.ph/join to join our circle. Okay, so I don't want to take much of your time. So to start off, for our opening remarks, we have the professional electronics engineer and the chairman of the Radio Engineering Circle Incorporated. Please welcome Engineer Gerhard P. Tan, Delta Victor 1, Papa Charlie.
Hi, fellow ka-circles, and of course, our guest and visitor, and likewise also to our distinguished speaker tonight. Good evening, and I hope everyone is well and good tonight. So let's just enjoy, sit back and relax, and also appreciate the topic to be discussed by our speaker, which shall be introduced in a short while on operating procedures. Yeah, so this is actually our last webinar in this first webinar series that is being offered by Radio Engineering Circle. Okay, so let's take advantage of the opportunity to learn, to understand, and become a licensed amateur radio. Okay, so soon you'll become also part of the organization. And I encourage, especially those who are not yet member, to, apply for membership with REC. So there are a lot of exciting projects and also activities that awaits us. And of course, the most promising part there is to help the needy. Okay, with that, I welcome you in tonight's event and thank you, John, for that warm introduction and likewise also opening to this session tonight. So I welcome you all and I look forward that you enjoy this opportunity that is being provided by our organization. With that, good evening, everyone.
Very much, Sir Hard, for that very encouraging welcome remarks and for being very supportive to our programs, no, especially here in the radio engineering circuit. So again, let me remind you to register now through the link or QR code on your screen. So you need to complete the registration and mock exam of Element 7, and we highly encourage everybody to listen attentively to the speakers because later after the presentation, we are going to have an exam which will be the prerequisite for your certificates. And in order to get the certificate, of course, you should pass the mock exam of Element 7. So our passing rate is approximately 70% of the total score or at least 18 correct answers out of 25 questions. You can only take the Element 7 mock exam until 6 p.m. The mock exam. So, without introducing our so again, let me remind everyone. So please log on to the link or you scan the QR code. Okay? So I hope everyone's ready because I think our research speaker is also ready to share uh, his knowledge on this particular topic. So again, of the amateur radio exam, and this is in preparation for the class. Without further ado, to you, our speaker for tonight. Our speaker is a product of the University of the Philippines, where he completed his AB and MA in philosophy. He also was awarded a Lonergan Boston College, where he earned another master's degree in philosophy. He just recently earned his doctoral degree. And by profession, University. His love for electronics and radio began with shortwave listening. His success with the construction of antennas inspired him so that he can talk with faraway stations. He is duly licensed National Telecommunications Commission as a amateur radio operator and holds the call sign Uniform 1 Echo Victor. He also holds ham radio licenses from the United States, Japan, and the United Kingdom. Currently, he is the Pramsat Philippines, which has the station call sign Delta X-Ray 1 Oscar. He is a lifetime member of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association and is presently Okay, I think I have to repeat it again. I'm so sorry. Okay, I think I have to repeat it. So again, so to introduce our speaker, our speaker is a product of the University of the Philippines where he completed his AB and MA in philosophy and also the Bachelor of Laws degree in University of the Philippines. He is also awarded with the Lonergan Fellowship at Boston College where he earned another master's degree in philosophy. And at the Ateneo de Manila University, he earned his PhD in philosophy. And by profession, he is a lawyer and an academician. And he currently teaches business law at the John Gokongwei School of Management of Ateneo de Manila University. His love for electronics and radio began with shortwave listening, and his success with the construction of antennas inspired him to get licensed so that he can talk with faraway stations. He is duly licensed by the National Telecommunications Commission as Class A amateur radio operator and holds the call sign Delta Uniform 1 Echo Victor. He also holds ham radio licenses from the United States, Japan, and the Philippines and the United Kingdom. Sorry. And currently, he is the president of AMSAT Philippines, which has the station call sign Delta X-Ray 1 Oscar. And he is a lifetime member of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association, or PARA, and is presently the liaison to the International Amateur Radio Union, or IARU. So without further ado, please welcome Attorney Eduardo Victor J. Valdez, PhD.
Hello, John. Thank you for that introduction. Nag-take two.
Yes, sir, I know that.
Sige, walang problema. Good evening, everyone. And I saw some of the answers to the poll questions. Thank you for answering the poll questions. Sige. May I begin?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Mag-share screen ako, ha? Okay. Alright. Sige. Kita na? I can see it. John, can you confirm? Kita pati yung ano. Pwede bang isa lang ang isang
Yes, sir. I-check natin sa technical team.
Oh, yung kalahati lang ang i-share. Sandali. Eto, subukan natin. Hindi pa rin. Stop share. Ulitin ko, ha? Tingnan natin kung anong kailangan gawin. Share screen. Window lang. Okay, pili ng window. Ayan. Yan, better. Okay. Good. Dali, i-split ko lang yung screen ko, ha? After doing that manipulation. Alright. Iba-iba kasi sa Google Meets, ano pa ba? Zoom. Alright, iba-iba yung commands. Alright, it's my first time to present on StreamYard. Alright, good evening, everyone. As mentioned by John, my name is Eddie Valdez, and my call sign is Delta United 1 Echo Victor. So first off, there are some information here which I got from the internet, a lot of them from the internet. So credit to the owners, of course. So meron ka agad tayong CTTO, in other words. All right. So just to give you a context, my context for tonight will be procedure, right? So this is element 7 of the Class B exam, but My context would be two rubrics, and these would be ethics and sustainability. Okay, so ethics and sustainability would be our framework. So good luck in your class B exam. Tama ba? You are upgrading to class B. Uh, that is the seminar for. All right. Earlier, I asked for a survey to be conducted who are into VHF, UHF. A lot of you are into VHF and UHF. A few are into HF, SSB, CW, and digital. A good number of you have been licensed for less than a year. Uh, I think around 1 to 3 years, siguro mga 4 to 8 years, maybe 9 to 15 years, maybe 1 or 2, more than 15 years, siguro isa. I saw a Excel spreadsheet for your answers. Akala ko kasi it would be conducted on Zoom. Kasi kung Zoom, pwedeng mag-poll and then everybody can see the results of the survey. Although doon sa Excel file, pwede ka rin naman mag-create ng pie chart or any other chart that you would want to use. All right. Okay. So, let's start with the basics. What is an amateur? All right. Where does the word amateur come from? An amateur, from the French amateur, lover of, is generally considered a person who pursues a particular activity or field of study independently from their source of income. So hiwala yung trabaho sa hobby halimbawa. All right? It is separate from your profession. Amateurs and their pursuits are also described as popular, informal, self-taught, user-generated, DIY, and hobbyist. All right, so that would be what an amateur is. All right, several definitions. Yeah, John, hanggang anong oras ako? How much time am I given, by the way? Kasi doon sa invitation hanggang 9. Tama ba? Or 8, kasi yung registration no, up to 8:30. May exam ba after this? Medyo nag-choppy-choppy kasi sa akin. Up to, Gerard, how long? Up to 9 officially sa chat?
Yes, sir. Up to 9.
Up to 9? O, sige. Alright. Hindi naman siguro ako abot ng 9. Medyo mahaba yun. I hope everybody's paying attention. Kasi sa mga klase natin, di ba sa online, mahirap yung attention span ng mga estudyante. Alright, but this is our hobby, so maybe the attention span will be longer. Alright, thank you, John. Okay, so let's go to ethics, which is our rubric or framework, one of the pillars of our talk tonight. One definition of ethics is moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conduct of an activity. All right. So I'm sure you are familiar with ethics. I do not know presentation mode. Okay. Ang problema pagka presentation mode, hindi ko makita yung chat. All right. Sige. Sige. Ito na lang, ha? Pagtiyagaan nyo na lang. Sige na nga. Magsalita na lang kayo kung may message kayo sa akin. All right. I will not see the chat if it's presentation mode because it occupies my whole screen. All right. So, let me just get a watch. Pati oras ng computer, hindi ko na makita. Alright, so kinuha ko muna yung cellphone ko para alam ko yung oras. Alright, sige. Just so that we are uh, aware of the time. I'm sure some of you took ethics classes when you were in school. It's the study of good and bad, right and wrong. And as early as elementary school, we were taught good manners and right conduct. I hope that's still taught your in in our schools for today's generation. If there are young people here in the audience, 9 years old pa lang, pwede na tayong mag ham radio licensure exam. All right. So now the other rubric that we have is sustainability. What is sustainability? One definition is it is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. Another definition is avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. All right. So uh, there are three pillars informally referred to as people, planet, and profits. All right. So we're interested in one pillar, which is people, right? Because we are people, amateurs are people, all right? And we would want to make sure, as ham radio operators, we want to ensure that our hobby is sustainable. Okay. Um, how do we ensure that our hobby will grow? How do we encourage young people to join our hobby? How do we make it interesting to millennials, for example, and all those other younger generations? And how do we behave? How do we behave as amateurs? How do we treat newcomers to the hobby? Do we welcome them with open arms? Okay. So, in a nutshell, this is what uh, ethics and sustainability would be. I am sure some of you listen to 2 meters and some of you participate in net calls. In radio, they have a preamble at the start of the net, and some radio clubs share the amateurs code. This amateurs code was composed by Paul Siegel, W9 Echo Echo Alpha in 1928. Right? So alam niyan, the radio amateur is considerate, loyal, progressive, friendly, balanced, patriotic. Okay? So if there is one takeaway for this webinar, it would be that amateur radio operators should be ethical. Okay? If there is one takeaway, if there is one thing that you should remember from this talk, from this webinar, is that amateur radio operators are ethical. Okay, very good. So let's go to the first one. The amateur is considerate. Okay. Dahil hindi ko makita yung ibang mga tao, magpapa-participate sana ako doon. Is that possible, John? Can I ask the audience to participate? Gerard says, yes, sir. All right, very good. Sige. Can I have a volunteer? Can somebody read the slide? Walang volunteer. O sige, graded recitation. First na nag-register, Alex. BB1 UBY. Kilala kita. Are you there? Na si Alex. Nakamute. Johnny Victor, Nituda, are you there? Wala yung mga call signs sa registration. CQ, anybody listening? Please unmute. Wala. Lahat shy. Walang, or hindi kaya. Hindi kaya. Anybody in the audience? Can you unmute and speak? Wala. Hindi pas. Ba't wala? Walang sumasagot from the audience. Baka walang nakikinig. Baka walang nanonood. Tayong tatlo lang nandito. Wala ba talaga? Ayan.
Hello.
So, John, I
Hello.
you.
Hello.
Yeah. Ayun. I cannot and I am on YouTube. Romano San Jose. Comments lang po ata. Ayun, si Alex sumagot sa chat. Okay. But he's on Facebook.
Yes.
Wala pong tao sa Zoom. Okay. So dito sa
Hanggang comment lang
StreamYard.
sila, sir, pwede.
Okay. Sige. Alright. So broadcast lang pala ito. So walang sayang magpapa audience participation sana ako dun sa dulo. Alright. Sige. So, consider it. Never knowingly operating in such a way as to lessen the pleasure of others. Careful not to cause inconvenience or hurt to others. Right? If you listen on the air, I'm sure you hear some people who make a lot of noise, who press their microphones at inappropriate times, etc., etc. So please be considerate. Okay, please be ethical. Uh, if uh, if we do those bad practices, our hobby will not be sustainable. Diba? Mawawala ng gana yung ibang mga tao pagka may mga nanggugulo sa ere. All right. An amateur is friendly with slow and patient operation when requested. Of course, Seagull composed this amateur code in 1928, as we have learned, and CW was the only mode back then, right? Slow and patient operation. Ibig sabihin, mabagal yung CW pagka mabagal yung Morse code na pinapadala. Alright? The rule in Morse code is it is the slower sender's speed which will be followed. Alright? So if you are sending at 12 words per minute and there is a station who calls you at 5 words per minute, then you would have to adjust to 5 words per minute. All right. Similarly, in voice, all right, you also have to adjust. Okay, you also have to adjust. Right. Sometimes there are operators, especially DX stations, distant stations, who pronounce words differently. All right. So you would have to adjust. Today is a Saturday. All right? Yung iba, Monday, Tuesday. All right? Down south, alam niyo na kung kaninong mga punto yon. Friendly advice and counsel to the beginner. All right? So we should be friendly to the beginners. Kindly assistance, cooperation, and consideration for the interests of others. These are the hallmarks of the amateur spirit. So why did you become an amateur? That is a basic question. Bakit ka nagpalisensya? Nagpalisensya ka ba para maghanap ng kaaway? 'Di ba hindi? Naglisensya ka para magkaroon ng kaibigan. As we know, ham radio is the first electronics-based social network. Bago pa nag-umpisa yung Facebook, 'di ba? Yan ang ah, isa sa mga pinakasikat na social network sa internet sa panahon natin ngayon. Alright? Bago pa nag-umpisa yung Facebook na yan, last century, nag-umpisa na tayo sa ham radio. We wanted to make friends using electronics. Alright? So, that is probably also the reason why we became ham, to make friends, not to make enemies. Right? An amateur is progressive, with knowledge abreast of science, a well-built and efficient station, and operation beyond reproach. Right? So you have to keep updated. Right? Keep on reading. An amateur never stops learning. Right? Especially because this is a technology-based hobby. You should always update with the latest technology. Also, with the latest technology comes with the latest best practices in electricity and electronics, right? So, how make your ham radio station safe, right? What is the best practice for grounding, lalo na ngayon, panahon ng kidlat at kulog, di ba? Right? Anong magandang mga materyales ngayon para sa pag-ground ng iyong stasyon, right? All right. A ham radio operator is balanced. Radio is an avocation, never interfering with duties owed to family, job, school, or community. Right? So, wag na lang puro ham radio ng ham radio. Maybe when you were kids or when we were kids, minsan nalululun tayo sa bisyo, panay na lang ang ating internet, panay na lang ang ating babad sa Facebook, panay na lang ang ating babad sa Twitter, ngayon sa Netflix. Siguro, some of you are addicted to Netflix, video games, watching BTS, yung mga K-dramas, K-pop, etc., etc. Alright. Okay, so here is a nice picture or pictures of traffic. Okay, of course, the one on the top left is EDSA. If you will notice, the pictures on the left are pictures of EDSA. One is daytime, one is nighttime. Yung nighttime that is pre-pandemic, and the one taken during the daytime is the pandemic EDSA. This is the current EDSA. If you look at EDSA, I know there are a lot of you who are outside of DU1 in the registration, and I'm happy to see that there are a lot from outside of Metro Manila. But let me just explain for those who have not been to EDSA during the pandemic. Of course, our brothers and sisters from outside of DU1 will have difficulty traveling. Ako rin, I want to travel already. Kating-kati na ako. Pero I want to go. Isa yun sa mga panaginip ko after the pandemic. Gusto ko mamasyal ulit. Kahit dito muna sa Pilipinas ulit. Kasi mahirap ma-stuck sa ibang bansa ngayon. Magastos yan. Pagka nagkaroon ng second, third, fourth wave sa ibang mga bansa, nako, mahirap ma-stranded sa ibang bansa, magastos. Alright, so if you look at EDSA, on the picture, the rightmost lane is now the bus lane. Okay? So yung mga bus dyan dumadaan ngayon. Dati yung looking at the picture, the leftmost lane should be the bus lane. Now it's the rightmost lane. Okay? And then the middle lane and the leftmost lane are for vehicles. All right? Meron ding tinatawag na motorcycle lane. All right? But if you look at the motorcycle, one of the motorcycles, the first motorcycle you will see, the frontmost motorcycle you will see, anong napapansin ninyo? Nasa guhit, di ba? Dun sa dividing line. Tama ba yan? Natural ang sagot ay mali. Di ba? Mali yan. Alright. So in relation to the topic tonight, why am I showing this picture? Kasi yung ere natin at saka yung mga license classes natin, parang traffic din yan. Okay? Saan ka pwedeng dumaan sa EDSA? Kung nakamotorsiklo ka, doon ka sa motorcycle lane. Kung bus ka, doon ka sa bus lane. Kung kotse ka, doon ka sa lane ng mga kotse. Alright? Alright. Kung class Charlie ka, saan ka pwedeng mag-transmit? Diba? Pwede ka sa VHF, sa UHF, 10 meters, 15 meters, tsaka 40 meters. Alright? So, yun yung lane mo. Okay? And then, what particular portions of the band can you transmit on? Alright? Can you transmit in the whole of the spectrum of 10 meters, for example? Alright? Can you transmit a particular mode on a particular frequency? Diba? Kunyari, interesado ka sa digital mode. You want to explore this digital mode invented by the Nobel winner engineer John Taylor, yung JT65 and all those other further iterations of the JT mode. Okay? Saan frequency mo sila matatagpuan? Okay? Although CW is allowed all over the bands, all right? Kung mag-transmit ka, may sasagot ba sa'yo? Diba? May tao ba doon? Diba? So, dapat alam mo kung ano yung lane. Yan. Yun yung kaya ko pinakita yung picture na yan. Alright. So, one good source or one good guide for ethical operation is the DX Code of Conduct. Right? One of the main proponents of the DX Code of Conduct is John DeVoldier, ON4UN. Unfortunately, he recently passed away just a few months back, right? He's a very well accomplished DXer, right? And his specialties were the low bands, 160 meters, 80 meters, and 40 meters. Ano yan eh? Those are the difficult bands. Okay, yung 160 lalo na. That is why they call it the top band. Okay, 160 meters is the top band. Okay, pinakamataas. Although pagka titingnan mo, sa frequency, yan ang pinakamababa. Well, actually ngayon, hindi na yan ang pinakamababa. Alright. Alright. So please use Google or your search engine to look for this DX code of conduct. Okay? And sige, sisilip lang ako ha dun sa chat para at least makapag-interact. Hello, DW1 SMU. Watching po. Okay, dun sa chat box, sagutin ninyo para interactive naman kahit paano. Example mo, motor, paano naman naka 4 wheels na nasa motorcycle lanes? Alright. Si Dennis, example niya yun. Alright. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng DX? Pakilagay sa chat box. Good evening from Batangas. Hello, hello Myra. Meron? Anong ibig sabihin ng DX? Anybody? Wala pang sumasagot? What does DX mean? Ayan. So kailangan isulat para ano? Wala pa ako nakikitang sagot. New comments. Ayun, meron nang sumagot. Long distance, call and copy. Distant station. Ayan, John Kyle Cortez. O yan. Yun ang first correct answer na nakita ko. Distant station. Yan. Very good. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng DX. Distant station. Alright. Si John Kyle nagbigay ng seminar tungkol sa satellite sa mga Girl Scouts. Thank you for that. All right. Very good. Some said distant reception. All right. So let's continue. Good. I'm glad you're answering. Salamat, salamat. Next slide. Balik natin sa slideshow. All right. So, here are some general principles. Ethics and operating procedures. You have a social feeling, the feeling of fellowship. We share the same airwaves. We are one. Okay, so all amateurs are one. Okay, so please let us make this practice of being ethical the standard. Right? Tolerance. Each person is unique. We have to practice tolerance. Lalo na ngayon, usong-uso yung tolerance. All right? We have to practice tolerance. We have to understand that each person is different, each person is unique, and we have to approach them properly, and we have to adjust accordingly. Another parameter that is important, very basic, politeness. Never use rude language or abusive words. Okay, politeness. Magalang tayo. Magalang tayo. Huwag tayong bastos. Right? Comprehension. Not everyone is as smart, as professional, or as much an expert as you. if you want to do something about it, act positively. Okay? Alam nyo naman, isa sa mga napag-aralan natin doon sa ating elementary and high school ay yung crab mentality. Okay? So tigilan na natin yung crab mentality. Okay? So let us be professional. Okay? Let us act positively. Okay. Going on to the general principles. The moral authority. In most countries, most authorities do not care in detail how hams behave on their bands, providing they operate according to the rules laid down by the authorities. Okay? The amateur community is said to be largely self-policing. This means self-discipline has to be the basis of our conduct. Okay? So yan yung sabi sa DX Code of Conduct. Okay? Kailangan, where do we start? We start with ourselves. Okay? We have to be disciplined. Okay? Sino pa ang unang magdidisiplina? Di tayo. We will start with ourselves first. We have to be disciplined. If we are disciplined, hopefully other people will observe that and maeengganyo silang maging amateurista. Right? Okay. So can you see the picture? What do you see? Pictures. Sandali Itan ko yung screen ko para makita ko kaya sa chat. Okay. So, sino yung nasa picture? Anybody? Dapat may premyo. Okay. Si John daw magbibigay ng premyo. Si Gerard. First time ko makita si Gerard pala. First video meeting. Although I've had transactions with Gerard before. Si Lawrence. Hi, Lawrence. Crocs, sabi ni Dennis. Hindi. Pero sino yan? May pangalan yan eh. Ayun, si Lolong Arnel Lopez. Very good. Nanalo ka. Ikaw yung unang... Okay, so Lolong is the biggest crocodile found in the Philippines. Sige. Saan yan? Saan si Lolong ngayon? Nasaan si Lolong? Where is he? Ayan, dumami na yung sagot na Lolong. Okay, very good. May delay lang siguro bago lumabas dito sa aking chat box. Can't see the picture po. Okay. Nasaan si Lolong? Museum. Tama. Aling museum? Si Harbs sumagot ng museum. Ginugoogle nyo na eh. No pic. Walang picture makita si Iloni. National Museum, Leonilo Bungabong. Alright, very good. Panalo si Leo. Alright. My friend. Leo, panalo ka. Okay? Nanalo ka ng Lacoste t-shirt. Paki-claim na lang kay Gerard. Joke lang. Alright. So let me go to the full screen again. Slideshow para... Alright. So Lolong is in the National Museum. Is the biggest crocodile found in the Philippines. Alright. Yung katawan niya, ayan. Preserve yung katawan niya, hiniwalay doon sa mga buto. Yung mga buto niya, naka-display din, nakasabit din doon sa Museum of Natural History. If you have the chance, go to the National Museum. Napakaganda. You will be proud of the Philippines after you visit. You will be more proud, rather, of the Philippines after visiting the National Museum. All right. What would you rather be as an operator? Would you want to be called a crocodile or an elephant? Okay. Sige. Ayan, si Dumbo. Okay. O sa chat box, pakilagay. Anong mas magandang tawagin ka bilang ham radio operator? Crocodile or elepante? Pakisagot. Dalawa lang. Multiple choice. Crocodile? Gusto mo bang tawagin kang crocodile or elepante? Hindi kailangan ng display. Anong gusto mo? Crocodile or... baka yung mga nasa Facebook, hindi nakikita yung display. Pagka wala akong slideshow, ganun ba? Hindi nila makita. Elephant. Okay, si Romano San Jose. Elephant, girly. Ivan Del, Elepante. Iloni, elephant. Dennis, elephant. O walang gustong sumagot ng ano? Neil, elephant. Okay, so Leo, also elephant. Okay, very good. Perfect. Lahat ng sagot. Okay, so why do you want to be called an elephant? Big ears. On the other hand, a crocodile has a big mouth with very small ears. All right, so let's now go to some details in the DX Code of Conduct. One is I will listen and then listen again before calling. Right? Very important. You have to listen before calling. A lot of you are into VHF and UHF. When you shift to HF, you have to listen. You have to listen very well because the voices sound different on HF. On SSB, iba yung tunog, parang si Donald Duck yung nagsasalita. So your ears have to be accustomed to this new sound. All right? You have to listen. Pati naman sa FM, sa VHF, tsaka sa UHF, you have to listen, and listen. May tao ba? Baka may malayo. Nandito ako sa DU1, yung mga nag-uusap nasa DU3, tsaka nasa DU2. Madidinig kaya nila ako. Right? So, okay. So, I will always send my full call sign. Okay? I will always send my full call sign. This is another point raised by ON4UN, John, in his DX Code of Conduct. Right? If you will notice in our net, kunyari dun sa 2 meter or 40 meter net, you should send your full call sign. Okay, you should when the net controller calls for stations, please send your full call sign. When you do DXing, all right, when the DX calls for stations, please send your full call sign. Right? Yung iba nag-shortcut, pinapadala lang yung suffix, kunyari. Hotel Bravo, in the hope that the DX station will at least pick up those 2 letters, right? But if you will notice, yung mga matagal ng, halimbawa, yung matagal ng nagne-net controller sa VHF, ang titinik pumulot ng mga call sign, ang bibilis. At napupulot nila yung buong call sign. Alright? So pagka binigay mo kalahati lang ng call sign mo, you will be in effect wasting time. Right? So please send your full call sign always. And of course, it is always good practice to send your call sign in phonetics. Kunyari, B. Ano yung B? Ah, ano ba yung B? Bravo ba yon or Victor? 'Di ba? Minsan yung pag sinabi mong B, ano ba yung Papa? P ba yon? 'Di ba? So kung phonetics, at least mas malinaw. Alright? But sometimes, ito sa DX naman, sa DX, iba-iba rin yung punto, di ba? Iba ang punto ng Cebuano, iba ang punto ng Kapampangan, alam natin yon. Pero iba ang punto ng Koreano, iba ang punto ng Hapon, iba ang punto ng Inchik, iba ang punto ng Amerikano, iba ang punto ng mga taga South America. All right? Although there is an international phonetic alphabet, okay, it is a practice that stations also send alternative phonetics. Right? Kunyari, yung ako when I call DX, I alternate between the International Phonetic Alphabet and some other alternative phonetic alphabet. Why? Because I understand, di ba, na we already learned we have to adapt, we have to be tolerant, all right? So by way of adoption, paano kung may Spanish-speaking stations, di ba? Like South America, all right? Yung Eco Victor sa kanila would be Ecuador Victoria, right? So mas mabilis nilang mapipick up yon. So I will say CQ, this is Delta United 1 Eco Victor. So that is regular phonetic alphabet. And I will also say Delta Uniform 1 Ecuador Victoria. All right? Just to vary it. Minsan yung Echo, ano? What? X-ray? X-ray Victor? Ayun. Minsan nalilito pa sila dun sa Echo eh. So if I say Ecuador, all right. Ecuador. Okay. So Delta Uniform 1 Ecuador Victor. Yeah. All right. So you have to adjust when the need calls for it. Okay, next, from the DX Code of Conduct, I will only call if I can copy the DX station properly. All right? Sometimes the propagation is bad, okay? But you see on the internet, andyan ang, kunyari, there's a rare station in, kunyari si Doc Ed for F1OZ, he posted on Facebook that he worked Greenland, sabi niya. Okay? Paano kunyari, your station is not as good as Doc Ed's station? Hindi mo madinig yung Greenland. Pero pinost kunyari dun sa Facebook, nandito siya sa frequency na ito. Okay? And then nadinig mo, ang dami-daming stasyon na tumatawag dun sa DX. O di makikitawag ka na rin in the hope na madinig ka. Okay? Paano kung nadinig ka? Bago tinatawag ka ng tinatawag. Alright? Hindi mo rin siya makokontak, di ba? So do not call if you cannot hear the other station. Right? Next, I will not interfere with the DX station. Sandali, balikan natin to. Well, this is also applicable during net calls, for example. If you cannot hear the net control station, alright, what's the point in calling? Well, sabi mo, siguro pwedeng may mag-relay, alright? You are hoping that somebody will do a relay hopefully, hopefully. Um, but if it is DXing, walang magre-relay sa'yo. Alright. Sa net, siguro pwede pa. Alright. Lalo na sa 40 meters, di ba? Actually, sa 40 meters, the practice is niro-rotate din yung may mga relay stations, in other words. Alright. I will not interfere with the DX station nor anyone calling and will never tune up on the DX frequency or in the QSX slot. Okay? Sa HF kasi, yung ibang tao may mga amplifier, so tinotono nila bago sila mag-transmit. Right? Alam mo na ngang may istasyon doon ka pa nagtono. Lumipat ka. Actually, dapat sa dummy load magtono ng amplifier. Diba? Kasi pagka tinono mo sa ere, manggugulo tayo. Right? Please understand that the airwaves can be considered a natural resource, right? All right. And because it is a natural resource, it has to be used properly, right? Actually, we share the resource not only with other amateurs, we also share it with other services. The military, for example, commercial use, all right, aircraft, etc., etc. All right. If we do not use it properly, then we might lose it. All right. That is the risk. And we know that radio as a hobby is a privilege. It is not a right. Therefore, we must use the radio properly. Okay. And a good guide, of course, is the DX code of conduct. Another from the DX code of conduct. I will call and then listen for a reasonable interval. I will not call continuously. All right. And then, of course, leave a gap between transmissions. Okay? Kunyari, ikaw yung kausap, dalawa lang kayo nag-uusap, you please leave a gap, a space. Right? Wag porket tapos na magsalita yung kausap mo, pindot ka kaagad ng mikropono. Okay? Please leave a gap, baka may gustong sumali sa conversation. Diba? And more importantly, baka may emergency. Diba? Baka may emergency. Kung may emergency, ayun, dapat papasukin. Right? I remember one of our local hams, he went on the expedition. Dalawa sila, they went on the expedition and yung sinasakyan nilang barko experienced rough waters. They were trying to call on 40 meters, but unfortunately, the rag chewers on 40 meters were not leaving a gap. Okay, so nahirapan sila. Nahirapan silang makapasok. Right? So eventually nakapasok din sila pero nahirapan sila. Right? So please leave a gap. Please leave a gap. Baka may emergency. Yan ang pinaka-importante. Or baka gustong may makisali sa conversation nyo, magkaroon kayo ng bagong kaibigan. Diba? Kaya nga tayo nagradyo para dumami yung kaibigan natin. Alright. I will wait for the DX station to end a contact before I call. Okay? So, sa HF kasi, pagka may nagdi-DX, so syempre, tinawag na yung isang stasyon, antayin yung matapos. Okay? That is very important on HF. Right? Sa netting natin dito sa VHF, mas maganda kung hindi tayo sumingit. Di ba? Kunyari, tinawag nung net control yung isang stasyon. Okay? Go ahead, sabi ganon. Nung nag-go ahead na si net controller, pumasok ka, sinabi mo yung call sign mo para nagbabakasakali ka na madinig ka niya at sa susunod na round, ikaw ang uunahin. Alright, tama ba yun? Well, if you look at the DX Code of Conduct, patapusin muna. Okay, patapusin muna. Pagkatapos na, saka tayo pumasok. Alright. I will not transmit when the DX operator calls another call sign, not mine. Alright. Hindi lang sa HF ito nangyayari, sa VHF nangyayari din ito. Diba? If the net control station says, the 4 hotel, please make your call. Bago may sasagot na iba yung prefix, ang layo sa 4 hotel. Diba? Nadinig mo naman na 4 hotel ang tinatawag, hindi 4 hotel ang prefix mo, pumasok ka. Okay? Tumawag siya ng Alpha Bravo, ang suffix mo ay Charlie Delta, ipinilit mo pa rin pumasok. Alright? So please, iwasan natin. I will not transmit when the DX operator queries a call sign not like mine. Okay? So, kunyari, malayong-malayo. Okay? Malayong-malayo. Alright. So, ito yung mga prefixes natin. Diba? Sige. So, balik ako sa chat box. Tingnan natin. Okay. May question. What about the so-called jammer? Hindi talaga masisingitan as well as emergency or priority traffic ay hindi na naririnig. O kung jammer talaga, wala tayong maririnig. Alright. Yung iba pa nga nagja-jam sa bumbero eh. Nakakainis ano. Nakakainis talaga. Eh paano? Eh yung sunog na yun. John, I see your video. Magbe-break ba tayo?
Hindi po, may walang presentation po na naka-share, Tito Eddie.
Wala talaga. Hindi,
Okay.
umalis muna ako ngayon kasi magtatanong ako eh. Sa chat.
Okay. Sige po,
Okay.
Tito Eddie, go on pa.
Sige. So, ang tanong ko, ito, pakisagot sa chat, ha? Walang picture. Saan, anong district number ang Albay? Saan yon? DU ano yon? Albay. DU1, DU2, DU3, DU4, DU5, DU6, DU7, may sumagot, DU6, DU4, District 4, District 4. Okay, dalawa na yung District 4. Isang District 6. Tatlo na yung District 4. Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat na. Apat na. District 3. District 4. Ang tamang sagot ay, siyempre majority wins, mas marami yung District 4. Sige na nga, District 4. Hindi, tama, District 4. Alright. Saan ang Boracay? Saan ang Boracay? Summer ngayon. Magdi-expedition ka sa Boracay, anong prefix mo ang gagamitin? O kung gusto mo ilagay sa dulo, sa likod, portable DU6, DU7, DU8, DU9, saan? may pumapasok pa rin District 4 eh. So, sige. Next. Saan ang Boracay? Ayan na. Okay. No copying, ha? Ayan. Puro tama na yung sagot. Very good. District 6 ang Boracay. Okay. Saan naman ang Baguio? Saan ang Baguio? 8, 6, Baguio. 7, 2, 2, 2, 6, 2, 6. Ang tamang sagot ay 2, DU2 ang Baguio. Alright. O, sige. Saan ang prefix na Victor Romeo? Saan ang Victor Romeo na prefix? Victor Romeo. Kunyari, Victor Romeo 2. Charlie Charlie. Si Charlie yon. Okay. Australia. Hong Kong. Dalawa na ang sagot. Ano, saan ang VR2? Victor Tango. Bakit Victor Tango? Vermont? Hong Kong. VK. Hotel Kilo. VR. Bakit VR ang sagot? Indonesia. VR. Hong Kong SAR. Alright. Hotel Kilo HK. HK. Alright. Yes. VR2 is Hong Kong. Alright. Hong Kong. Victor Echo. Saan ang Victor Echo? Australia. Victor Echo. Saan ang Victor Echo? Hong Kong. HK. Canada. 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 Alright. So, it is Canada. Alright. Saan ang Juliet Delta? Saan ang Juliet Delta? Juliet Delta. Where is Juliet Delta? Japan. Dalawang Japan. O, saan ang Juliet Delta? Dalawa pa lang ang sagot. 3 na ang Japan. 4 na. Lima na. Indonesia. Isang Indonesia. Ogasawara. Wow. Specific. Alright. Okay. So, very good. It's in Japan. It's one of the islands in Japan. There's a cluster of islands in Japan uh, where they have a JD1 prefix. All right. So why is that important? Why are the prefixes important? So that you will, if you have a directional antenna, you will know where to point your antenna. Madidinig mo pa lang yung prefix, alam mo na, hapon ito. So ganito dapat yung salita ko. Okay? I will let go of my Australian accent and now I will use my Japanese accent to talk to my Japanese friend so that he will understand me more clearly. O ito na yung hotel, Hotel Lima Station. O saan ang Hotel Lima? Hotel Lima. Hotel Lima 1, India Whiskey Delta. This is Delta Uniform 1, Echo Victor. Hello, Lee. How are you tonight? You are 5 by 9, 59 in Marikina City. HL1 IWD from Delta United 1, Echo Victor. All right, Korea, South Korea. Very good. Perfect. Lahat South Korea. Very good. So that is important. You should know the prefixes. Huh? All right. Let's now return to the slideshow. Next up on the DX code of conduct. When the DX operator calls me, I will not repeat my call sign unless I think he has copied it incorrectly. Alright? Huwag na daw ulitin. Sabi ng DX code of conduct. Sumagot na kayo. Okay, sumagot na kayo and give the exchange. Kunyari, merong de-expedition sa Kalayaan Spratly Islands. DX0K. Alright? DX0K. Kunyari, sumagot si DX0K. Tinawag niya JA1DHB. Go ahead. Okay? So, sasagot si JA1DHB. Okay? You are 59, 59. Thank you. Okay? So, tatawag na ulit si DX0K. Alright? Para mabilis yung exchange. Right? So, that is sustainability and preservation of time. Okay? Kasi kung de-expedition, they would want to maximize the number of contacts because it is not all the time that a station is operating at that rare and exotic location. Okay? Kunyari sa Pag-asa Island nga sa Spratlys. Right? Eto. Kung napapansin ninyo, siguro ang application nito sa 2 meters is kunyari, tinawag D1 Echo Victor. Go ahead, Eddie. So ito, sasagot si D1 Echo Victor. Thank you. This is D1 Echo Victor. My name is Eddie, blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay. Sinabi na nga nung net controller yung pangalan ko, inulit ko pa yung pangalan ko at nagpakilala pa ako. Kilala niya na ako. Di ba? Tinawag na nga niya ako ng pangalan ko. Alright. Alright. So, next. Stay polite, courteous, and gentle under all circumstances. Stay polite, courteous, and gentle under all circumstances. All right? Mahirap yan. Madaling sabihin, pero mahirap gawin. May mga bilib akong mga net controller eh. May mga bilib ako na mga net controller. Napakaganda ng boses, napakaswabing magsalita. Kahit may jammer, grabe, napakagalang nila. Hindi nila pinapansin yung jammer. Doon ako sumasaludo. Alright? So next, what subjects should not be discussed? Religion, politics, business. You should not give derogatory remarks. Alright? Sige. Can I have a bladder break? Siguro 1 or 2 minutes. CR break lang ako ha. Boys and girls, old men and YLs. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Patugtog muna kayo. Sige. Or magkape muna kayo.
While we are on a break, don't forget to register. Okay, so we will be closing the registration by 8:30 p.m. and it's already 8:26. So if you're not registered yet, just register on the link that you can see at the bottom of the screen. So it's a ticker, I think. So http://rec.org.ph/element7 2021 reg. So register now so that uh, you can receive certificate, but you have to also to pass the mock exam. So I hope that everyone has already registered. So actually, this is the last part of the. This is the last element that will be discussed under the. For the class in preparation for the Class B Amateur Radio exam. So, okay, I think I have wala naman na akong nakalimutan na sabihin. By the way, don't forget to like and follow our page, facebook.com.ph/rec.org.ph. And also, Radio Engineering Circle is a proud member of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association and the Federation of Rapid Emergency Telecoms Team of the Philippines. Okay. Yan. Okay na ata. Okay na po kayo, Tita Eddie? Okay. So let's start again. So let's start the ball rolling.
All right, thank you, John. And sige. So next slide tayo. Sa ethics and operating procedures for the radio amateur. Check your transmission quality. Okay? Baka naputol na yung microphone, yung mic cord ninyo. Alright, so choppy na yung audio ninyo. Baka mataas yung SWR ninyo. Alright, so humina yung output ng radyo nyo. Yung mga bagong radyo, pagka na-sense niya mataas SWR, binababa niya yung power so that it will protect the finals of your radio. So check your transmission quality. Yung power supply mo, baka bibigay na. Ang lakas na ng ugong. Alright, so check your transmission quality. Kasi para kang jammer. Kala nila jammer, yung pala sira na yung power supply mo. Is your microphone gain set too high? Alright. Pagkatingnan mo sa spectrum scope, ang daming sungay. Alright. Ibig sabihin, nagkakalat ka ng basura sa ere. Okay, so of course, going back to sustainability, conservation of energy. Right? 'Di ba? Dapat maliit lang yung bandwidth na kinakain mo. Pero pagka ang lakas-lakas ng mic gain mo, ang laki ng bandwidth na kinakain mo. Kung napapansin niyo sa FM halimbawa, pagka masyadong malakas yung mic gain ninyo, nagpuputol-putol kayo. Right? Lalo na kung dadaan kayo sa repeater. Right? So, doon lang sa tama. Okay? Is the speech processing level too high? Alright? So, very similar. Okay? Kakalat din kayo ng basura sa ere. So, that is not sustainable. Ask a local ham to check your transmission for splatter. Okay? So, pagka ganyan, dahil nga malaki yung bandwidth nyo, tumatagos kayo sa kabilang frequency. So, nagsasplatter kayo. Right? To err is human, to forgive is divine. If you make a mistake, do correct it. And nobody is perfect. Right? Okay. How do you correct others? What will you do if you hear unethical behavior on air? Sige nga, pakisulat sa chat box. How do you correct others? Okay. What will you do if you hear unethical behavior on air? Okay. Remember, our hobby is self-policing. Okay. Our hobby is self-policing. Sino ang unang ipupulis mo? Yung sarili mo. Okay? It begins with you. It begins with me. Okay? Good manners start with you. Good manners start with me. Okay? Let us make this hobby sustainable. We have to practice ethics. Sige, tingnan ko yung chat ninyo. How do you correct others? Do not talk that matter in a common frequency. Hindi ko yata naiintindihan yun. Magko-QSY ba yun? HP? QSY ba? Lipat? Doon kayo mag-usap? Ganon. Okay, how do you correct others? How do you correct others? Our hobby is self-policing. Pakisagot sa chat box. How do you correct others? Kunyari, eto na, siguro napapansin nyo rin, yung ibang nag-uusap, ang una nilang bibitawan, pagpindot nila ng microphone, go ahead. Go ahead. Andito na ako sa EDSA at matraffic dito sa EDSA. Go ahead. Inaantay ko green yung ilaw at nakikita ko yung mga tao tumatawid sa kalsada. Go ahead. Pero may mga jeep dito na yung mga pasahero walang face mask at face shield. Panayang go ahead. Pero laging nakapindot pa rin yung mikropono niya. Diba? So, paano mo siya i-correct? Paano mo siya i-correct? Remind the DX Code of Ethics, si Neil. Politely remind them of the rules of from Ivan Daniel. Politely, yeah, very good. I like that word, politely. Remind them. Okay, Neil. Okay. Paano? How? How? Paano? Paano? Tama yan, tama. Very good. Good answer. O ngayon, how naman? How? Paano? Correct yan, correct. Politely, tsaka remind. Correct. Very good. Approve. How? How? Tawagan mo siya sa CP. Yan, very good. Kulot. Megiso, very good. Tawagan mo siya sa CP, sa cellphone. Tama. Wag sa ere. In other words, wag sa ere. Ang dami namang other ways. Tawagan mo sa Viber, tawagan mo sa Facebook, i-chat mo siya sa Facebook. Ayun, Simon Pedro, talk to him, her in private. Yan, very good. Yay! Okay, let's continue. Perfect kayo. All right. So, radio spectrum. Of course, we have the amateur radio spectrum. Nasabi ko na, we're sharing it with other services. And because we're sharing it with other services, in the early 1900s, the International Telecommunications Union was formed. Okay? Hinati-hati yung EDSA, naglagay ng motorcycle lane, naglagay ng four-wheel vehicle lane, naglagay ng bus lane. Diba? Hindi. Naglagay-lagay ng frequency allocation bawat service. Okay? Saan yung mga eroplano, saan ang military, saan ang commercial, saan ang amateur, etc., etc. We do not live in a vacuum. Kaya binuyang International Telecommunications Union. So, because we are sharing the spectrum, okay, we should stick to our lanes. Okay? That is the analogy. We have to know the band plan. Saan ako pwede mag-transmit ng SSTV? Okay? Kung magtra-transmit ako ng SSTV sa maling frequency, nanggugulo lang ako. Alright, ayan. Sa website ng PARA, andyan yung frequency allocation by license class. Alright, so know your privileges. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, it is a privilege, not a right. Okay? Alright. So, what is the meaning of Elmer? Yun yung iyong teacher. Okay? Elmers, plural. Okay? Teachers. So where can you find a good Elmer? In the local clubs. I encourage you to join a local club. Right? Why should you join a local club? That is where you will find your Elmer. Right? Pero ngayon, when you define a local club, lumawak na because of the social network. You can join, tanggalin na lang natin yung local. Okay? Join a ham club na lang. Join a ham club. Right? So if you're interested in digital communications, you join a club where the members are into digital communication. So if you're interested in satellites, then join a club which is specializing in satellites. If you're interested in CW or Morse code, then join a club which is where the members are interested and proficient in Morse code. Right? Meron namang mga Facebook group yung mga local or ham clubs. Merong mga Viber group. So it doesn't really have to be a traditional club that you are joining. Okay? Uh, Ako, for example, I am a member of Philippine Amateur Radio League, PARL, DX1L. Okay? That is my mother club. Okay? And tomorrow is Father's Day. If I have a mother club, what is my father club? Joke lang yan. Like, may mga Viber group. Pwede naman kayo sumali dun sa Viber group nung grupo na interesado kayo. You can find your Elmer care of Mr. Google. Okay? Or Mr. YouTube. Okay? Pwede nyong makita yung Elmer ninyo sa YouTube. Okay? Meron siyang channel. May YouTube channel siya. Or sa mga vlog. Okay? Or sa mga blog. Alright? Marami na ngayong ways of finding an Elmer and finding clubs or finding persons with similar interests. All right. So, setting up your station. Okay. This is where your social networking will come in handy. Okay. Where will you buy equipment? Right? I see a good number of the registrants being licensed for 1 year, and they are into VHF and UHF. So what if you want to explore HF, right? Then of course you join a club or you find members within your club. If you are already a member of a club, you look for members who are into HF. Okay? And then maybe you can ask their help. O, saan ba ako pwedeng bumili ng equipment? Right? And then you ask for their advice. Will I buy a second-hand radio or will I buy a brand new radio? Ano bang budget dyan? So that they will also give you an idea what budget you have to prepare. Okay? Should I buy from a fellow ham or should I buy from a dealer? Right? Uh, I am interested in making my own equipment. Okay? Where do I look for instructions in building my own transmitter? I am interested in low power or QRP CW operation. All right. I'm interested in building a kit. Okay, maraming kits ngayon available and you can construct your own transmitter. Okay. All right. Where will you put up your station? Okay, sa bahay. Saan sa bahay? Okay? Saan sa bahay? Sa bedroom mo ba? Okay? May bakante ka bang lugar? Okay? Paano ngayon? Lahat ng tao ay work from home, tsaka study from home. Okay? Yung radio station mo, ang ingay niyan. Saan mo ilalagay ngayon? 'Di ba? So you have to negotiate with the other occupants in the house. All right? So there are a lot of considerations. What equipment do you need? What basic materials do you need? Do you need an SWR meter? Do you need a volt ohm meter? Do you need a soldering iron, etc., etc.? So again, join a local club, join a ham club, so that you will expand your social network. Who will and they can help you in setting up your station. Okay? So, modes of operation, marami. Okay, so how to QSO? Listen, listen, listen. And then say is the frequency in use. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? Okay. Siyempre, hindi tuloy-tuloy yun. Magpo-pause ka, ha? And then CQ, CQ, CQ. Tatlong CQ. This is your call sign, calling CQ, and standing by. All right. So usually, that is the format of calling on HF. Similarly, in CW, ganyan din. Similar, CQ, 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 DE. Ang DE shortcut for this is then your call sign, okay, and then the pro sign, dida-dida-dit, and then da-dida, okay, para go ahead. Right? Keeping a log. Sandali, balikan natin to. So use plain language, and then when you do the listen, 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 of course, you will hear good operators. So try to emulate. Kopyahin ninyo yung mga good operators. Okay? Alam nyo naman yan eh. Alam nyo yung good operators sa bad operators. Alright. And then speak clearly. Okay? Speak clearly. Wait for the other station to end his transmission before you come in. And so place a gap. Don't forget the gap. The gap. Right? Gusto ko sana dito sa portion of this presentation, dalawang participants sana mag-QSO eh. Alright, pero since we cannot do that, no problem. So after a station calls you, you give him the report, okay, yung RST na tinatawag, readability, signal, and tone, pagka CW. Pagka voice, readability, and signal lang. Of course, you know, the readability is from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, and then the signal is 0 to 9, 9 being the best. All right. And then sa 9, meron pang additional plus 10 dB over S9, 20 dB over S9. If your S meter is duly calibrated as such. All right, keeping a log and QSLing. Importante din yan. Okay? If you're just starting, my suggestion is start with an electronic log. Okay? May computer naman kayo eh. Maraming software dyan available na libreng electronic log. Okay? Para maayos yung pagtago ninyo ng logbook ninyo. Okay? Because you need to QSL. As they say, the QSL card is the final courtesy of a QSO. Okay? So you have to exchange QSL cards. But nowadays, electronic na yung QSL card. Okay? Electronic na yung QSL card. I suggest that you enroll in Logbook of the World. Logbook of the World. LOTW. Okay? You upload your log to Logbook of the World. This is sponsored by ARRL, the American Radio Relay League. Right? So, ima-match nung Logbook of the World yung logbook mo with all the other logbooks uploaded to that LG. Right? At doon, makikita na rin in the awards, kunyari ito, yung DXCC, DX Century Club. Okay? Makikita niya, you have already contacted 100 entities or 100 countries. Pwede ka nang mag-apply para sa award na ito. This is one of the basic awards, right? If you are a DXer, Okay? If you are a DXer worth your salt, you should have this as your wallpaper. Your first wallpaper yan. Isasabit mo yan sa pader. Right? At least may accomplishment ka. Okay? So, importante din sa buhay yung may mga goal. Okay? So, ito siguro, pagka nag-umpisa ka na mag-DX, yan siguro ang isa mo sa mga goals mo. Okay? Maka-DXCC man lang ako. Okay? Madali lang naman yan. Sumali ka lang ng contest. Maraming mga contest. Okay? Maraming HF contest. Halimbawa, sponsored by ARRL, sponsored by CQ Magazine. During that weekend, for sure, you can contact more than 100 DXCC entities and you are well on your way to getting that DXCC award. Right? So I suggest that you keep an electronic log to make life easier and QSLing a lot easier. Tsaka doon pa lang, pagpasok mo pa lang ng call sign ng prefix, pagpasok mo lang ng prefix doon sa logbook, sasabihin niya na kung anong country, matalino yung logbook na yan, sasabihin niya na kung anong bansa yon, sasabihin niya na kung anong direksyon mo kailangan itutok yung antena mo. Alright? Yan ang kagandahan sa mga electronic log. Okay? May mga ganun na silang function. Ano ba dun, ano bang data ang kailangan mong ipasok? Of course, the call sign of the other station, the signal sent and received, the band, the mode. Okay, anong band? Was it the 10-meter band? So yung frequency, papasok mo doon. Anong mode? CW ba yan? SSB ba yan? RTTY ba yan? SSTV ba yan? JT ba yan? Digital? Etc. etc. Satellite ba yan? Anong satellite ang ginamit mo? The time and the date. Alright? Kung nag-match yan, kunyari kausap mo si JA1BRK sa Japan on 40 meters SSB, bago in-upload ni Taksan yung kanyang logbook niya sa logbook of the world, nag-match yun, ayun, confirmed, one country confirmed, Japan on 40 meters. Meron ka ng 1 point, 1 DXCC entity confirmed. 99 na lang ang kulang. Alright? Alright, so DXing. Yeah. It's also good to have a map. Alright? So meron kang kodigo. Saan ulit ang DU? Pilipinas pala ang DU. Saan ulit ang VK? Australia pala. Saan ulit ang ayun, LU. Saan ang LU? Sa Argentina pala yung LU. Okay, may nadinig ako na KL7. Saan yung KL7? Sa Alaska pala. Saan ang KH6? Kilo Hotel 6. Sa Hawaii pala. Alright. So, baka gusto nyong mag-de-expedition. Okay, what is a de-expedition? Alright, it's operating from outside of your home station. Alright, and one of the more popular activities is IOTA, Island on the Air. Okay, Islands on the Air program, IOTA. Now, this is spread up. So that is the National Radio Society in Great Britain, Radio Society of Great Britain. Right? So yung mga islands dito sa Pilipinas, for example, merong mga IOTA number. Okay? And then the IOTA enthusiasts, all right, want to contact as many IOTA entities as many IOTA as possible. Okay. In fact, I know one Japanese guy who is very active in IOTA. Excuse me, nag-water break lang ako. Kapaos din. Alright. Ang dami niya ng IOTA entities, IOTA islands dito sa Pilipinas na na-activate. Nagpunta na siya ng down south, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan. Sabi ko, dati nung nagkita kami, sabi niya, my next IOTA activation will be in, sabi niya, Basilan. Sabi ko, wow, ang tapang mo. Ako, Pilipino ko. Hindi pa ako nagpupunta ng Basilan at hindi ako kampanteng pumunta sa Basilan kasi there was an incident, a recent incident in Basilan when we had that conversation. Sabi ko, it's very dangerous. Have you been watching the news? Have you been reading the newspapers? Sabi niya, yes, he's well aware of that. Sabi niya, anyway, I look like Philippines. Yun nga sabi niya. Hindi daw siya masyadong kaputian bilang Hapon. Tsaka he has black hair. Sabi ko, well, I can tell they're Japanese. When I see you, even from afar, I will say that you're not a Filipino. I will say that you are Japanese. Sabi ko, pero nagpumilit pa rin siya at nagpunta siya sa Basilan. Believe din ako sa Alright. Alright. So, if you're interested in satellites, there's a group, AMSAT. You can join AMSAT. Alright, so I think that is my last slide. Hindi, ito pa pala. Second to the last slide. Of course, voluntarism is very important. Please help out during emergencies and natural disasters. HERO is activated, Ham Emergency Radio Operations, hosted by PARA. Okay, so please check in on 40 meters and 2 meters. Right? Balikan lang natin yung satellites. So a number of you are Class Charlie. A number of you are into VHF and UHF. Of course, that is the default starting point for most of us, VHF and UHF. Napakadali nang bumili ng VHF and UHF radios ngayon, nung panahon namin. Very challenging nung panahon namin. Mahal to begin with. Ngayon, swerte kayo at marami ng made in China na mga radio na maganda ang presyo. Okay? Aaminin natin lahat yun. Maganda ang presyo. And you can already do DXing with a simple portable radio. Okay? And you do it via satellite. Biro mo, portable radio lang, makakakontak ka na. As far north as Japan and as far down south as Australia. Okay? So imagine mo, with a simple portable radio using the satellite. Okay? All right. I hope to catch you on the air. And if you have questions, please put it in the chat box. And I wish you 73 and 88. So let me go to that chat box to see if there are questions. Okay, John, may nakita ka bang questions? Baka meron kang nakita na hindi ko nakita.
As of now po, Tito, wala akong nakikitang question. Anyway, ako na lang
Okay.
magtatanong for the meantime. Anyway, Tito Eddie,
Sure.
share ko lang to our um, viewers, no, and to our attendees. Si Tito Eddie nakikita ko before when I was teaching in an Ateneo. Nakikita ko siya sa CAF, sa sa cafeteria. Tapos may dala talaga si Tito Eddie na lagi na radyo, and that's how I'm amazed with Tito Eddie pag nakikita ko siya. And question, Tito Eddie, medyo to, medyo personal. Gaano na po kayo katagal nagradyo?
Siguro mga 3 taon na. Ah, I started back in the CB days nung 70s. Of course, CB is unlicensed. Okay, that was my first taste of two-way radio communications. Eventually, that's where I met my Elmer. Okay, sa CB, I met DU1, uh, DU1 EVM. Okay, DU1 EVM became DU1 UJ. All right, and he was the president of our CB club, si Eddie Boy. We call him Eddie Boy back then. Hindi ko alam sikat pala siya. Pero nung CB, ano ba naman ang alam ko? Ako ay isang teenager pa lamang. Siya rin teenager nung panahon na yon. Uh, at nakatira ako sa UP noon at estudyante siya sa UP noon. So pagka nagmo-mobile siya sa UP, syempre nakatira ako sa UP. Ako ay isa sa pinakamalakas na istasyon na nakakausap niya. Alright. Bago itinatag niya yung Scan International after sa CB days, yung DX1 EVM. Alright. So back in the 70s ako nag-umpisa. So yun. Pinanganak ka na ba nun?
Hindi pa po eh. Okay lang po 'yun. Kumbaga we learn from the experiences of our kumbaga our OMs po. And DU1 UJ is si Executive Minister of the tama ba?
Yes, yes.
Apo,
Now,
si EVM, tama, Eduardo V. Manalo. So, yun, hello pala po sa mga scan na baka may nanonood dito sa atin, Tito Eddie, ng mga amateurista from Scan International. Hello po sa inyo. And may question po dito from Elmore Ignacio po. Question po, what can the NTC do against jammers? Can we call them for any violation of the frequency allocation and or unlicensed individuals on the amateur band?
well, they can use the law and they can enforce the law. Whether or not they will do it, that is for them to answer. Okay, but they can use the law and they can impose fines, penalties, and confiscate the radio. All right, that is well within their powers. Yes.
Sige po. From Michael naman po. Hello Sir Ed, ano po ang tamang tawagin sa air? Tito Michael or only Michael?
Parehong tama. Parehong tama. Pilipino tayo eh, 'di ba? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in the Philippines, do as the Filipinos do. Walang mali. Parehong tama. Ako, you can call me Eddie. You can call me Tito Eddie. I wouldn't mind. when you go DXing, uh, you can drop the tito. They might not understand the tito. Alright, siguro ganon.
Sige po. Yan. Next is from I think a question, no, from this is more of the commercial though, kasi what po is regarding what is RLM. So from Mr. Balbon Jabroni.
Alright, that is restricted land mobile. That is another service. Which is different from amateur radio or ham radio.
Sige po. At Tito Eddie, ano yung dito sa Pilipinas, ano yung pinakamalayong island na po na napuntahan nyo for DXing or dun sa, for DXing?
Pinakamalayo na napuntahan ko is Kalayaan Island, which is the Spratlys, for DXing. I've been to Tawi-Tawi, but I did not bring a radio. It was on official business. I attended a graduation. So, hindi ako nagdala ng radyo. Sayang nga eh.
Opo.
Ay, may nagtanong pala sa taas, hindi natin nakita. Ano yon? What is HERO? HERO is Ham Emergency Radio Operations. Yung para kasi may alert levels yan. Iba-iba from red alert, orange alert, and then green. Yellow, orange, red, orange, yellow, green. All right. So different levels of alertness. Yan. So kung may papadating na bagyo, mag-uumpisa sa yellow and then pupunta sa orange and then pupunta sa red. So we do a storm watch there. We monitor the weather, we give reports, etc., etc. Assist in communications. Yeah. VHF and 40 meters, 7.095 megahertz, and then 144 megahertz, 144.740 megahertz on VHF.
Sige pa. Another question, Tita Eddie, from HP Pabon. Elmer Eddie, saan po website makikita mga call sign ng bawat bansa? Please think 7388.
All right. Well, depende yan, ano? For example, FCC sa United States maintains its own database, and it is you can look up US call signs there. All right, it's publicly available. All right, yung Japan, they have strict privacy laws. They do not have an electronic database made available to the public. Alright? So makikita natin na dalawang progressive na bansa na tinitingala natin, iba-iba yung kanilang batas at patakaran. Alright? However, let me suggest that you put your information on qrz.com, Quebec Romeo Zulu.com. Okay, that is strictly voluntary. You can put your information there, your name, your address, even your biography there. Why is that important? Well, noong unang panahon, nung wala pang electronic logbook of the world, all right, that is how people send QSL cards. Hahanapin nila sa internet, or actually sa mga directory tsaka mga magazine. Saan ang QSL address nitong ham na ito? Alright? So if you are listed there on qrz.com, it would be easy to locate you. It would be, lagay mo doon yung email address mo para makakontak ka nila. I've met friends through qrz.com. They look up my call sign. Nakontak ko na sila dati sa radyo. I-email nila ako using my address listed on qrz.com. Eddie, I'm going there to the Philippines. And then they will request for an eyeball. Yan. So mag-eyeball kami. Aside from meeting on the air, we meet in person. And that's one of my favorite activities in ham radio, the eyeball. The eyeball. I did not mention it during my talk.
Okay, Tito. Next question. Yung
Nag-choppy. Is this a question of Patrick about the Motorola radio?
yes po. Apa.
Okay.
Yes po.
Medyo
Yes po, Tito
nagcha-choppy.
Eddie.
All right. So, John, your question is, should you register your Motorola two-way radio? Actually, as I mentioned, using the radio is a privilege. And in accordance with our laws, all radios must be registered. So if you want to follow the law, then the answer is yes. All radios have to be registered. All transceivers, to be more specific, transceivers.
Okay po. Tito Eddie, for the last part, I think we don't receive any questions now. Any final message before we end this webinar po?
All right. Of course, thank you to DZ1 PUP, PUP Rec. Ano ba yung call sign nung sa mga alumni, yung rec? Yung sa estudyante, DZ1 di ba?
Yes po.
Meron anong call sign nung sa mga alumni?
Yung sa Rec Incorporated po, yung Delta Zulu
Yes.
1 Romeo Echo Charlie.
All right. Sige. Thank you rin sa DZ1 REC for inviting me. And my final words to the participants, good luck in upgrading your license class, and may mga awards, may mga operating achievement awards. Ang targetin ninyo na award would be DXCC unang-una, and then I hope you become Elmers also. Be good examples. Be good examples to the young generation, to the newer hams. Lagi namang magkakaroon ng mas bagong hams sa inyo. Be good examples to the newer hams para dumami tayo so that our social network will keep on growing. In some countries, the ham population has dwindled, but here in the Philippines, with the active trainings and seminars being conducted by Para before the pandemic, and now during the pandemic by PUP Rec, online seminars, and the NTC has resumed examinations. Sana talagang mag-open na sila ng pintuan na todo-todo. Or online, we've been advocating online testing even before the pandemic. Sana i-adapt na ng NTC. Please be good examples so that we can have more people, more good hams like you. Alright, ethical hams. Yun lang po. Salamat po. Back to you, John.
Thank you po. Tito Eddie, Delta Uniform 1, Echo Victor. And before that, Tito Eddie, we have a photo opportunity. Technical team, may we request those who are in the room pa sama na lang din dito sa ating live for a photo opportunity with Attorney Valdez. So, ayan. I think Gerhard Tan is also in this live. Delta Victor 1 Papa Papa Charlie, and uh, I think um, nandito na rin si Engineer Ornan Vicente. Ayan si Delta Victor 1 Papa Papa Charlie, and sana nandito na rin si Tito Ornan. Ayan, so okay. I think may we request the technical for a photo opportunity, and 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So thank you very much, Engineer Gerhartan, and also to nandiyan na pala ang ating si Tito Ornan Vicente. I think may call sign na si Tito Ornan Vicente for India 1 Oscar Sierra Victor. Okay, sige, picture po tayo ulit. Let's request the technical again to take a photo. Medyo naging unstable yung internet connection ko. Okay. Okay. Hindi nakakasama si Tito Ornan. Sige, picture tayo. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On behalf of the Radio Engineering Circle, we would like to thank our speaker, Attorney Eddie Valdez, Delta Uniform 1 Echo and okay, so we sincerely so again, so don't leave yet. So sa ating mga viewers, don't leave yet. So let's wait for the link for the feedback form. And also, we would like to invite everyone to be a member of the Radio Engineering Circle. So just follow the instructions on your screens. Also, also like and follow our page, facebook.com/rec.org.ph. And Radio Engineering Circle is a proud member of the Philippine Amateur Radio Association and the Federation of Rapid Emergency Telecommunications team. Okay, so don't forget to answer the feedback form with the link that you will see on the screen. Okay, yeah, so that's what we have on the screen right now. So element 7, operating procedure. So we don't have the mock exam. Okay, so we only have the feedback form. Okay, so before anything else, I would like to greet those members of Radio Engineering Circle. I think they are, nagda-drop down. I hope my connection is okay now. So I would just like to greet our rec members who are now in Isla Verde, Verde Island. So ingat dyan and stay safe. And to give us the closing remarks, may we call the President of the Federation of Rapid Emergency Telecoms Team of the Philippines and Vice Chairman of the Radio Engineering Circle, also a professional electronics engineer and ASEAN engineer, Engineer Ornan S. Vicente for India 1, Oscar Shera Vic.
Hi, Jan. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to our speaker, attorney. Thank you so much. Magandang gabi sa iyo. Oo. And also to our audience who have attended this webinar. And I'd like to thank also our board of trustees. And sorry, I'm in a place where it's kind of noisy here. So hopefully you have learned a lot from attorney, and this is something that we all need to understand and part of the licensing examination of National Telecommunication Commission. Uh, well, of course, this is one of the many webinars that we are actually offering to each and everyone, and I hope the topic is very important, and I'd like everyone to go over that, and you can review the replay of this live broadcast of our webinar. So thank you so much, and I wish you all a very good evening. And it's indeed a very fruitful Saturday evening. So again, thank you, attorney, and hopefully we'll see each other again. We'll see each other soon. And thank you to our host, si 4 Foxtrot India, 4 Foxtrot 1, John, thank you so much. And to our chairman, thank you so much as well. So hopefully, monitor our FB page for some announcement with regards to the upcoming webinars. So thank you, and very good evening, everyone. Mabuhay po tayo lahat.
Okay. Thank you, Tito Ornan Vicente. And also, thank you rin ulit. Again, thank you rin ulit po kay Uniform 1 Echo Victor. Medyo bumibitaw lang po talaga yung internet connection. So, medyo so I just received that the Radio Engineering Circle is participating in the All Asian DX Morse contest. So good luck and stay safe there in dyan sa Verde Island, and ingat kayo dyan and sana makarami. Okay, and ayan. So okay, so again, thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. So kindly fill out the feedback form, log on to the link to be flashed on your screen. This will be the prerequisite for your e-certificate. So please do not leave the session without completing the feedback. So note that this will be until 6 p.m. tomorrow, June 20, 2021. Okay, so we are looking forward to see you again on our next series of webinar, and advance happy Father's Day to all our fathers there who are all yung mga amateurista natin na mga tatay and ating mga attendees na tatay na rin. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Okay? So I'm having an internet connection. So with that, so this is your host, Engineer John De La Cruz for Foxtrot 1 Juliet Juliet, transmitting from Tanay Rizal, Sampaloc, Tanay Rizal. So that's why I'm having an internet connection problem. And have a great weekend and good luck and stay safe always. And 73, this is Radio Engineering Circle, Propagate and Radiate webinar. Okay, thank you very much and bye. Ingat.